It's a wet morning here in Wewak, Papua New Guinea today. I'm heading out on an hour flight, hopefully today, out to Moonbill to drop off almost 650 kgs of cargo. Right now though, the weather is not looking good for my flight today. I might have to cancel it because I have other flights I have to go pick up other people. I'm kind of in a tight spot being able to get all this stuff done today. We're gonna go ahead and load up though, in anticipation that it might work. If not, then we'll be unloading and I'll take you guys to Sino today. So there is a big, huge storm, maybe about 15-20 miles from Moonbill where I'm going. And right now it's just fog all the way down to the ground and rain. It might clear by 9 in the morning to 10, but after that, it looks like it's just forecasted just to close right back up for the rest of the day. So Omdu is right at the end of the valley, so it's kind of probably gonna be the last little bit to actually clear. If it does clear this morning, my guess is that it's not gonna clear. That's my guess, and we probably will go out to Sino. We will see. Are these 3 carts going up top then?
Yes.
And that's it?
No, I still have what I label hat racks. It's still in vain.
Okay, so Travis, you and I can start loading up this stuff.
Okay.
So I've got 3 seats on the hat rack right now. This should have probably around 400 kgs by the time I'm done. Weight and balance should be no issues whatsoever because I've got both pods underneath nearly full up, so shouldn't be an issue. So for every 100 pounds of cargo, about 50 kgs, roughly about 46 actually, we have to put 1 rope for every 100 pounds. So this is around 400 kgs, so minimum I have to put around 8 to 9 ropes. That shouldn't be a problem. Lastly, we gotta tie the front down because you guys can see the net actually goes underneath of the cargo. This keeps the net already nice and tight, and then pulled down in case I flip over. Pods are loaded, main cabin's loaded. Got some seats back here, just 3 of them. I'm just waiting on my weather report. It's 10 minutes till 8. I wanted to get out of here at 8. So basically I wanted to be jumping into the plane right this minute to start up. We'll see. I just got a text saying less rain, fog thinning a bit, getting a bit brighter. Hopeful. All right, I have a window, a very short window. Might or might not work. I'll show you a video that I got out there to show you what I'm seeing, and then I can quickly go over the weather forecast. It's only a forecast, so I don't put gobs of faith into it, especially when it's kind of showing the weather it's showing me. If I don't get out now, they need this plane for sure in Goroka tomorrow, so I really kind of have to get this done because I've got another flight on Friday and we're just kind of running out of time. We've got 1290 on the fuel. Let's go ahead and get started though and not waste any extra time. G's up, stabilizing at about 19. Fuel pressure's coming in nicely, fuel flow, ITT's coming up, NG is coming up past 35, 640 on the start. Just to show you guys what I'm using here, I'm using the Windy app, and it's 9 o'clock in the morning. We're heading all the way out here to Moonbill. It's blue, a little bit of red and stuff all around. I'm going to be getting out there at 10, so that's really more what I'm concerned about. Oh, really blue. We go to low clouds. It's broken and overcast is right on the edge of it. Visibility
At 10, it's got some green, so it says it's going to be VFR, but again, I'm not putting a lot of faith into that because here's kind of what it's before. It's all like marginal VFR, which is what it is now. And then by 11, it goes back to IFR. So that is what I'm looking at. Moresby 1267, November Tango Echo taxi.
November Tango Echo, good morning. Moresby, go ahead.
Morning, November Tango Echo taxi, WEWAC, Moonbill 1 POB.
Echo, for traffic, air QNH 1006.
1006, November Tango Echo. Alright, we're going out to up to 12,000 feet. We are 100% full up, so 63 knots on rotate. Also, I'll show you some videos, like I said, of somebody out there right now that was able to send me a text. It is improving, and it's saying that it's supposed to be marginal to VFR by the time I get out there. It's been drizzling all morning. It's got low clouds in the valley. The whole valley is only a mile wide, probably. And so, and it's at the end of the valley, which definitely makes things difficult because that's all the weather gets blown in off the lower coastal, not coastal, but the Sepik plains. It all gets blown up in there. And they have a rain meter out there, and they got 4 inches of rain last night. So I can see standing water all over the runway in their video. It is a grass runway. It's a 6% slope, I believe, kind of overall. Touchdown's probably 3 or 4%, so it's not bad. I've personally been stuck out there 2 times. Another pilot's been stuck out there 1 time. It takes about an hour to get your plane unstuck, digging it with 20 people, pushing, getting people in the back, getting the nose wheel out of there. It's a huge pain. So I'm going to do my absolute best not to get stuck today. You basically have to land a little bit, I would just say a little bit off to the right at the very first, but then you have to go a little bit to the left, and then you have to get back into the center on the runway to miss all the soft spots. All stations, WEWAC, November Tango Echo departing on runway 28, up on track 240. Ignition. Ignition flaps 20, fuel and harnesses. Checklist is complete. Right, 31 degrees, so 1540 for 1590. Let's go. There's 1540, ITT is coming up to 720 nicely. And there's rotate. And our torque just sits at the top of the torque. Well, it rained here in WEWAC most of the night, so we got quite a bit of rain last night as well. The whole Sepik this morning had just a bunch of rain. It's been slowly working off. It might be cloudy, but I think it's going to be a high overcast, and it shouldn't be too bad getting out there. It's just once we get to our destination that I'm really more concerned about. Having low clouds and drizzle. If it's drizzle, it makes it really difficult to be able to see when you start slowing down. Moresby 1267, November Tango Echo departure.
November Tango Echo, Moresby, go ahead.
November Tango Echo departed WEWAC at time 18. We'll be tracking 240 on climb 2000, estimating Hauna 58.
November Tango Echo 2000, all for traffic.
November Tango Echo. Okay, so for our weight and balance, we've actually taken all the seats out, but I do have 3 in my hat rack on this flight. For my next flight after this, I'm going over to pick up 4 people and heading back here. We have in the front pod, I have 131 kgs. Second pod, I've got 127 kgs, which leaves us with 296 and 91. So 296 plus 91, instead of putting that 91 on the hat rack, I've just combined it all together, 387, all right here, basically in the first 2 sections. So if I divide that by 2 sections, we've got 193, 194, and I'm just right in the middle, at the very top, but I am right in the middle, and as we burn our fuel, it's going to be moving forward on the CG table. So I've loaded 645, that's what my manifest says. There we go. Okay, so I've got 2 videos from out there. This is the first one. This one was like almost an hour ago. Visibility looks to be maybe 1 mile, 1.5 miles. Now if I go to the second video, which he just sent over here, this was at like 9 o'clock. Exact same video. Now I'm seeing probably 2 to 2.5 miles visibility. The ridgeline I'm going to be coming over is looking even clearer with a higher overcast. It's not drizzling quite as much. Coming out here to my base hill, that's clear. My final looks all clear all the way in. So that's why I'm making the decision to go, knowing that I only have a very short window that it's going to work. But looking ahead, we've got past all that drizzly rain that we had back there coming out of Weewak. It's looking pretty good right now, but we still do have to get into the mountains. About 5 to 8 miles or so into the mountains. So if I have to go IMC past Houna though, I need to go back up to 8,600 according to my charts. Then that also poses another problem, is then I have to figure out how to get back down, and if it is like a layer. You can see, before we get into the more scuzzy kind of weather up there, let's go over our landing chart together. We're out to Moonbill. We're landing on runway 12. It's just a one-way airstrip. Touchdown zone is 3%, 3,100 feet for touchdown. And very soft off of the crown of runway on the lower end. Yes, it is on both sides. So headwinds turn to tailwind after committal. That's extremely common, where you might have maybe 3 knots of headwind that turns into 7 knots of tailwind once you're like, nah, I'm 100% committed. Because of the way the hill is, there's a hill on final, and the winds come around and hit it, so it's a headwind, but then it twists right around and kicks you in there pretty quick. Max slope is a 7% slope. When you're sitting on the runway though, it doesn't really look like it's really a slope at all. I mean, just like it's like a barely, very, very slight hill. So it's a nice, easy place to go. Really cool when it's nice weather. Not seeing through all the way like I was earlier. Let's see if we can get up a little bit higher. Let's get a little bit of power in here for our climb. See if this is just a couple scuzzy layers, and then to see how far we can see. If need be, then I'll need to get down quickly and then go underneath it all before we get into the mountains. I think I'm gonna have to go back down because this looks like it's like multiple layers. I'm only up 500-600 feet. Autopilot off. Let's get pitching up and climbing up a little bit faster so I can have a better idea sooner. Yeah, I think I'm just going thicker and thicker in here. Alright, well, that's not going to work. We've gone up 1,000, 1,500 feet. I'll go right back down to 7,000. Well. The only problem with 7,000 is now it's going to pose the problem getting into there. Because that means I'm going to have to stay marginal VFR coming up the valley, which means I have to come up the end of the valley, which means I'm going to have to kind of come around a lot of stuff. Alright, now we're starting to break back out again, right at 7,000. It just must have been right there. So I think we'll be able to just, actually look at it now, I think we'll be able to just pop over a couple of these little like layers that are kind of coming in. Let's bring our power back up to cruise, 1250 on the torque. And if this doesn't work, just for your reference, I've just wasted about $1,900 worth of fuel. Yeah. Now that we're a little bit closer to the mountains, you guys can maybe feel my stress and worry at how much like there's scuzziness. And as the morning goes on, a lot of these clouds from Indonesia, because the border is just right over here, that's what that little white line is right there, is the Indonesian border. It's just piling over here, and by 11 o'clock it said that it was going to be covering up Moonbill again. I'm supposed to get out there at 10:30, so my window of opportunity is rather thin. not thinking I'm going to be able to remain VFR though much longer. I think I'm going to have to go that way out to Yopsy, climb on up to either my minimum safe or stay in between these layers though, because this isn't going to work, I don't think. I'm going to have to go heading mode and start getting away. Anytime you have mountains, and these mountains kind of come out like that, clouds are going to stick to the mountains first. Only other option, on some days you can come over here to the river and then fly down the river once you get into that valley, but I mean that doesn't even look like a really great option either. Now we're kind of just in between these many layers. I don't want to have to go up to 8,600 and go IMC, because I'm kind of thinking that once I get in that layer, and it's not going to break back open up. I really want to stay marginal VFR as much as I can, because it increases the possibility of me being able to complete this. I mean, maybe going down lower might work better. Maybe through this little bit lighter tan stuff, potentially. Because I think the higher I get, I'm just getting into more and more clouds. Okay, I'm seeing potentially a ridge over there. Yeah, alright. I am seeing some openings now. In between, there's like 2 layers right here, and I'm seeing some ridge lines over there, so that's why I'm heading over here. It's the direction I need to go anyway. 6,000. Pattern altitude's 4,200, I believe. 4,100. Oh, terrain on. You guys can see I'm going to have to eventually get around that last little hill. Might be able to get down on the deck, fly up over there, and then fly up the valley. Might be an option. Or if I lose my altitude, it's a long way back up here. And I don't have gobs of extra fuel to be just flying up and down, back and forth all over the place. I have enough, but not that much. I've got to make sure that I think I'm going to have to either go down or there we go. There's a hole over here. Looks like it opens up quite a bit more. I'm going to try to actually shoot from maybe getting in, maybe up the valley and go up the river. I don't know. It's just so many layers here. It just makes getting around really difficult. I'm still seeing I've got 27 nautical miles to go. Evaluating how low these clouds are out here on the river. Or maybe I can go up this river. We've got this river coming in. No. Let's see. I'm still having good visibility. It's just that there's so many different layers, making it really hard to know exactly where you are other than this. But it's looking pretty dark up there, which probably means that there's probably rain. Not heavy rain, but at least rain up there. Or I need to keep going this direction. Okay. Just kind of zooming in so you guys can see. We've got some mountains coming out here, or kind of ridge lines coming down. That's what the brown is, that's what the yellow and red is. Red, you're dead. We're gonna go around those and just try to work up this lighter area. It's kind of sort of opening up a little bit. Right there. Hey, look at that. That's opening up really well. I'm seeing a good 20 miles. Let's head that way. Turn right terrain awareness off. Not going to go IMC at all. Here's a great example. You just literally go from one cloud to the next cloud to the next cloud, hoping that there's like an opening after the next cloud, and you just don't know until you get there, and then you're like, oh, look at that. Hey, there's another way we can go, and then you go to the next one, and then you're like, hope for the best. Yeah, I'm glad I did not go to 8,600. I would be in the cloud right now, and it doesn't look like there's too many openings, if any at all. So I'd just be stuck up there now. Like, how do you get back down if you're in the mountains? Like, you can't just descend unless you know you're on a specific safe track. Let's just cut right through here. I could still see another 20 miles ahead of me, just a tiny little corridor, but everything's not moving very fast. When the weather is like this, if you're wondering, it's very stable. It's not really, even though the winds were whipping up there, I've got like 1 to 2 knots here. Clouds aren't really building. It's just kind of just sitting around, barely moving. Although these days, the weather can change quickly in the sense of it could just start drizzling all of a sudden. If you're wondering, Ryan, does this type of weather stress you out? No, the weather itself does not stress me out. It's more of all the other things that I have to think about. Like, if this does not work, how does that affect the rest of my day? The fact that I'm, you know, delayed an hour and 20 minutes getting out of WEWAC out here now delays me getting back to my home base an hour and 20 minutes, which now puts me later in the afternoon, which means that's when I have to deal with more thunderstorms on the other end in the Ramu Valley. That more stresses me out. This type of weather, I actually really enjoy it. It's kind of like a puzzle. How can we figure this out? And it's like, if this doesn't work, well, now I have all this on here. I can go back to WEWAC, but I'm supposed to go somewhere else to get other people. So now I have to go get those guys, which adds an extra 2.5 hours minimum to my day, which now puts me in too late to be able to get back to Goroka, my home base, for the day when they need this plane tomorrow to head back out. So those are more things that stress me out. It is stressful kind of like trying to think of all those things, and now it's not really up to you, but you still put it on yourself that you kind of need to complete these things in a safe way, which I feel like I'm doing a fine, safe job today, keeping within my margins, but at the same time, you still want to be able to like get the flight done, because if this doesn't, well, it messes up so many other things down the road. All stations, Moonbill 1267, November Tango Echo, 8 miles to the north, 5,000 on descent. Circuit time 3-2. I'm looking for like key things. Like, I know that there was like an airstrip out here somewhere. Okay, there's the airstrip. So yes, this is the valley, because I did a video. I don't know if I posted it, but I did a video and I flew by this airstrip. It's a fairly new airstrip. Going down to 4,100 feet or whatever we need. We'll do prop forward. Orsby 65908, November Tango Echo, in the circuit Moonbill, report after landing. Still a few miles out, but I'd rather get that done now and not have to worry about messing with radios once I get up into this tight valley. A little bit below circuit altitude right this minute, but we'll do what we gotta do. Turn our terrain back off so I can see a little bit more of what I'm looking at. Alright, let's get our flaps up and get our power back in now that the valley is clear enough. Alright, I see the runway. Looks like my circuit's going to be wide enough, open enough, so that is good. If you're wondering, is that a lot of work for you, Ryan? Yes, I'll be very tired tonight. A lot of thinking. A lot of thinking. Alright, I think my circuit's going to be a little bit shortened. Just getting up into the valley might be a little bit harder, so I'm just going to fly probably directly over, come right around this hill, shoot my final. Nice thing is, this is only a 3% slope. 10 degrees of flaps. It's very, very wet, so I'll be easy on the brakes today. Let's go 10 degrees of flaps, or 20 degrees of flaps. Station's Moonbill, Nova Tango Echo, end the circuit Moonbill. Returning final 3,700. Noise clear. 73, 83, 93. Already at 83 right now, but that's alright. I want to go slow around all these clouds. Give myself more time and space. Turn to base. Get low. Start slowing on down. Let's go full flaps now. Checklist is complete. A little bit of sprinkles. It's alright. Oh, bird. Okay, 4 knots of tailwind. It's alright. Might increase, but that's okay.
500.
I am committed. 7 knots of tailwind, lovely. A little quick on the descent, but I'm going to have to be with 8 knots of tailwind now. Runway is nice and clear. No, it's fast, slowing. Little bit slippery. Right, a lot bit slippery. Ooh, there you go, guys. Always an exciting flight when there's weather. Well, if you guys enjoyed that ride along with me and like to support the channel, go pick yourself up one of my calendars. Just came out with it. I think you guys will enjoy it. Got a lot of really cool places I go to, so. Alright, thank you guys for joining me on this flight. And I hope to see you guys next time.